Hello and good afternoon. This is RV Adventures the Millers, working on the slide topper on the bedroom slide, and I'm going to show you some stuff here from the very beginning. I've got my scaffold set up back here and show you some of the things we got going on. So here's what you get. It comes in a big long tube. We ordered 4 of these. One was 11 feet, one is 13 feet, and 2 are 7 feet. The 2 7-footers come regular UPS ground, and one of them looked like they used it to prop open a garage door and run over it with a forklift, and everything else, the end caps were gone on it, were missing parts of it and all kinds of stuff. So just make sure you check your product real good when it comes in from the shipper. Make sure you're not missing any parts or pieces. Make sure the tube's not damaged, which would cause your product to be damaged inside the tube. So we ordered 2 of these 7-foot 1-inch toppers. One goes on the bedroom slide, the other one goes on the bunkroom slide, and today we're attempting to put the one on to the bedroom slide. So here I'm set up, scaffolding, sliding this out. I've got the slide in. Of course, this is a 2020 Saber 38 dBq, and if you can see right here on the top corners of the slides, there is a pre-installed bracket on there, so you don't have to mount the brackets. Big whoop. 5 screws to mount a bracket. But anyway, this is what you get right here. This is the slides right on to that bracket that's already mounted on the slide from Forest River. And we went with white just because we didn't want to transfer heat from the topper to the top roof surface of the slide. So I'm going to do some measuring up here. It's not really difficult, so I'll show you up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a straight line off of the edge of the slide on both sides, and I'm going to find me a level line point across here from the rain gutter that I can attach the cleat to the wall that holds the welt that's in the topper, that holds it to the side wall. I know they've put these pre-mounting brackets on here, but my curiosity is what do I have across here to mount my top device to, that's going to anchor the topper to the actual side of the rig. So as you can see, we've got 2 more down here to do. The sofa slide there is the biggest one. That takes a 13-foot something topper. That'll be the last one that we actually get from Lippert. And the bunkroom slide is also the same as this. It's like 7 foot 1 inch. So I'm gonna do some measuring here, mark up some stuff on the wall just using a pencil, so that can be wiped off real easy later on. And once I get these mounted on here and the rail up here, I'll shoot some more video. Here we are on a very windy Sunday afternoon. Just thought I would finish up this video on the slide topper for the bedroom slide here on the Forest River Saber 38 dBq. And anybody that's bought one of these knows that they come with a bracket pre-installed on the slide. So I'm going to flip this around here and show you what we did on this topper. So here's the this black bracket you can see here is the what Forest River sends out the door with this already on there. And the bracket that you get with your topper has 2 sets of mounting holes. You can either mount it high or you can mount it low, depending upon how high your flange is. And you just got to make sure you got clearance up in here. So it goes up pretty easy. The only thing that they really don't give you much instruction on is this aluminum rib that goes on the side wall of the camper, where to place this, how high. They give you a minimum. They say a minimum of 3 inches. When you close the slide up from the top of this flange, they're saying a minimum of 3 inches above that is as low as you can come with this bracket. I'm 8 inches. When this was closed, I went up 8 inches above the flange is where I put the bottom of that wall bracket. And of course there's a screw in there every 6 inches in that bracket, so that definitely shouldn't be coming off the wall. Remember, you got to put your butyl tape in behind this before you put it on to your camper and screw it in. And then I also I put silicone caulk along the groove in the top, just to keep water from coming down in behind it. Once you get it in place, there's 2 black screws that screws through the bracket and this welt in here that keeps the fabric material from moving left or right once you get it all in place. And so we've got 2 more coming. We've got one for the couch slide and one for the bunk slide. They actually sent us one for the bunk slide, and it had popped out of the shipping tube and was all messed up, and it was actually missing these extension arms that come out here for your bracket to mount to. So they're sending us a new one, and we'll get the other 2 on when we get them and they're available to go. So any questions, don't hesitate to send them our way. Hey, it's Dwayne again, RV Adventures of Millers, up on the scaffold working on the slide topper for the sofa slide, which is 13 feet long. And I'll switch the camera around here and show you before the topper goes on. We've already got our bead mount on the wall and our brackets on the front of the slide. So show you what we got here. All right, here we go. So here's our bead welt on the wall. The back of the slide topper goes into this groove, and I elected to use stainless steel screws instead of the just regular painted screws that it comes with. So you can see also I've caulked the leading top edge of this so no water can actually go down behind it, even though it does have butyl tape between the bracket and the wall. I still caulk that up all the way down. And here are the mounting brackets. Go a little wider here. So here's our mounting brackets. The topper flange goes into the end of this, and this is the piece here you get, and this black piece back here is actually what came on the Forest River 38 DBQ, is the bracket that's pre-attached, ready to accept this flange for mounting your topper. So we're gonna wrangle this 13-foot topper up here and get it bolted into place. Here our topper is in place. So there's the bracketry on the corner. On the whole length here. Like I said, this is This thing is 13 feet long. It's quite a span. So you have these two set screws here that locks this plate onto the pre-installed bracket there on the side. These two self-tapping screws go in and hold this glide bar. And there's an end cap goes on this end. You got a self-threading screw goes up through the bottom of this here, and that locks the pivot arm onto the slide bracket. And you have a small little self-tapping black screw that goes into the channel up here and locks the corded welt into that groove so it cannot slide back and forth once it's all installed. So I've only got the slide about a third of the way out right now, so it's I'll run it out here and add some video onto the tail end of this. If you can see this right here, but we've got about a 1/4 inch of clearance right here, so I've been watching that. It looks okay. You just want to make sure you don't make any contact between the flange of the slide and this roller when it goes in and out. So there we are, fully extended slide topper covers. And if you measure correctly, the fabric of your topper should come out as far as this flange. That gives you about 3 to 4 inches of coverage out beyond the slide here. So you don't want to, you want the topper to keep everything off of the slide roof, so you want to make sure it extends out at least to the side of this flange, or a little bit further would be okay. You don't want to come out here 5 or 6 inches. That's too much. You just want to come about where this flange is. So that's our idea, is to try to keep the rain off of the top of the slides, keep the top of the slides clean, no debris on them. As you can see at this slope, and I ran the slide all the way in, and from the top of the flange I measured up 8 inches to the bottom of this wall bracket, and that's where I put it. So that gives a pretty nice sweep pitch to this. So if it's raining pretty hard, it shouldn't be any problem with the rain cascading off of this. Shouldn't be any wanting to pool on it. So anybody's got any questions, don't hesitate to post. Good afternoon. Welcome to RV Adventures, the Millers. As you can see, I'm poised atop a little walk platform here. So we had our Saber 38 DBQ here back in for service. We're getting a leak on the corner of our kitchen slide by the entry door. They replaced what they said is the flap seals, and a couple days ago we had a good rain here, and guess what happened? Leak is still there. So instead of taking it back and letting it spend another couple of months sitting at the dealership getting another repair that probably won't fix it, we're deciding to do slide toppers. So on this side here, we're taking a little bit of a gamble because there is the awning over here, but you wouldn't be able to leave this awning out, you know, during a storm or anything. It's pretty big, and it would get ripped right off of the side, you know, in some high winds and stuff. So we're putting the slide topper on here. I got the brackets mounted here. Of course, on the other side, the brackets, there's a pre-mounted plate on the other three. This side they didn't put it on here, so I just got the brackets on here. where the roll will mount into. And up under here is our rib that's mounted to the side of the rig. And I went right up under the flange that's installed for the awning. Butted it right up against that same mount. And I did that in hopes that there was solid surface behind there to get the screws into. And lo and behold, there was something in there. So I know that's secured securely to the side of the rig, won't pull out. And so our next attempt is going to be to slide our rib of our topper into this groove here. And they suggest that you pry the end of this open a little bit and spray a silicone lubricant in this whole track, the whole distance, to help aid in sliding that welt through there and without tearing it, because you don't want to snag it on the corner of this thing right here and rip your brand new slide topper. So we're going to be real careful with that. Of course, it's going to take two of us to do this, so we won't be able to shoot the video of actually putting it in there. But once we get it up here, we'll pick up where we left off. Okay, we've got this thing all mounted up here. So it's a little tricky to figure out a couple things going on with this. And at first we thought we had to have these arms tilted more out here, but a lot of it depends on your clearance back here, how close that, if it was going to rub the top of the flange back here, you might want to rotate that out some. But also remember, if you rotate this out, that's going to leave this sticking out here in the wind when you're going down the road even more. So you want to try to keep it as tight back there as you can without it actually rubbing the top of the flange on the slide. And it wasn't too difficult to get that welt slid through there and get it positioned in place. There's a couple cotter pins. There's lock pins in the ends that keeps the spring tension locked until you get it in place. But once you get it up there and put a screw in here that locks this bracket into the arm, and when you know you've got it centered, run it out, make sure it all looks good, it's nice and tight. You put these two screws in here on each bracket, and that locks the whole thing in place. And since we're going underneath our awning, I also ran the slide all the way out, ran the awning out to make sure that nothing interfered, because the purpose of this slide topper over here is to try to keep the water off of the top of this slide and possibly leaking in and doing some damage, since nobody can figure out where the leak is actually coming from. Okay. I'm going to run the slide out now, and you can see it in operation. So there we are, completely out, and I'll run the awning out so you can see the clearance for that. There you can see right here we've got about 1 inch of clearance, but that really doesn't affect anything. The biggest thing was when the awning rolls out, that there wasn't any contact with the slide topper. So we're hoping this is going to help us with our leak issue, and we'll update you guys if it fixes our leak. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe.